Welcome back to another episode of Entertainment Roadmap. Today we are here with Paige Evans, who you might know from some of your favorite TV and film or TikTok, where she has surpassed many followers and she's such an inspiration. Hello, Paige, and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me and picking my brain on this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. So, how are you doing today?
You know what? I'm good. I'm good. I'm in the healing process. I missed out on a role yesterday. I found out that I didn't book it, so I'm in the healing process of that. I'm taking care of myself. I'm surrounding myself by light and positivity, and that's all that I can do.
That's so, I mean, obviously not about the role, but it's so good to hear that you're really taking care of yourself. And I mean, I one thing we really stood out about you was you're so transparent about the world of acting and Hollywood and entertainment. And that's so inspiring, especially for people who want to go into this business. But when did you realize that you wanted to be an actress?
So I started taking like acting classes when I was around 12, I would say. I went to like all these summer camps around my home, and I realized that I liked acting, but I didn't know that you could become an actor. I didn't know that that was a profession. I didn't watch a whole lot of TV or movies growing up. Like I was always outside playing sports. So by the time that I realized I could make this a career, I was in grade 12. And my grade 12 drama teacher was telling me all about like intentions for the first time and acting and how to be an actor and all of these things that I didn't know. And he was the first person to be like, Paige, I think that you're going to become an actor. And he was the first person that saw me, and he really pushed me. And he helped with all of my auditions going into schools. And then I studied for 2 years acting for film and television. And when I was in there, I'm like, I'm going to be the best actress in the whole world. And I still have this mindset, like, don't you worry. But I'm realizing that I don't want to glamorize this industry in any way. That's kind of why I took the social media route, was just to show people what a living working actor looks like. And it's not red carpets and it's not hair and makeup all the time. It's like I'm in the healing process of missing out on a film, and I was this close to getting it, and that's just the process. It's not glamorous, it's sad and lonely. That's what I want to showcase.
No, I mean, I feel like that's such a good point because when you're on the outside looking in, it looks like everything is all red
Mhm.
carpet and makeup and roles all the time and easy auditions, but it's not. And a lot of people don't let anyone into that. They don't let them see that side. So I think what you're doing is really inspirational.
Thank you, Allison. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone's journey of like an actress. Like, how do you become an actor? And I've always been so curious on like the process side of it, of how do you prep for a role? What does it look like in an audition? Like I've always been so curious, and it's been a lot of gatekeeping. And I just want to open the floodgates and yeah, be as transparent as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, and many people on social media, like actors, they only post when they get something and they don't post what happens when they don't.
Yeah.
And so it is inspiring to see like someone's journey of rejection, and which is things that happen to everybody. And like it makes people feel less alone when that happens to them. So it's super inspiring to see your
Thank
TikTok.
you. It makes me feel also that I'm not the only one, because I'm an actor too. Like I go through all of the ups, all of the downs, all of like the whiplashes of this industry that I'm just trying to navigate it. And when people are kind and they reach out and they comment and they message me, or even just interactions that I have in person, it's so special because it makes it all worth it. Like all of the tears, all of the no's, just to see like a person face to face and talk about their journey and how they fell in love with acting, like to see a face and not like a number, is so special. And everyone has a passion, and I just want to talk about their passions. And people are just like actors, especially creatives, their minds are fascinating, and I just want to explore them, and they're just so beautiful. Everyone that like comments, I'm just like, yeah, I'm surprised that people are so kind on the internet.
That yeah, that's true. All the comments are so positive under all your videos.
I know. I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones, truly. I just want to build a community. Sounds so cliche, but I just want people to have a safe place. I want actors to have a safe place to talk about anything, any hardships, anything that they're going through. I just want them to know that they're not alone in anything.
I think that's such a beautiful thing because, you know, there are some actors who they don't want to give advice to
Mhm.
others because they almost want to gatekeep it. And I'm not even talking about mainstream actors. I'm sometimes talking about like your hometown, small actors, like people you would think would want to give advice, but don't. So what you're doing is really opening up the doors for so many people who feel lost in this industry. And I think that's just such a stunning thing to do.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Something else that a lot of actors don't talk about is the audition process. And I know there's in-person auditions, but now I guess we're more in the self-tape area. Could you talk about maybe the difference between the two and which one you prefer?
Yeah, so I got my first agent when I was 12, just kind of discovering that I liked how acting made me feel. And I started going into in-person auditions when I was 12. I was a child. Like going into it now, it's just different when you're young because you don't care. I didn't even realize that I could go to set. I didn't realize that was like an end goal that I could be on set for months. I honestly was just like, I'm gonna go into the audition room and that's fun for me. So now it's not fun for me. I much prefer self-tapes, but it's a big difference in person and self-tapes. In person, you get the energy of the room, you get feedback, which now self-tapes, I just kind of hit submit and I don't know if I did a good job, if they want something different. But when you're in the room, they tell you, okay, let's try this differently. Or, hi, my name is, what's your name? And to feel out people's energy, that's what I'm lacking in self-tapes. But I think self-tapes are incredible. I think it's the best technology that's ever existed. I am an anxious girl sometimes when I'm going into the room. Like it's so scary now because I live by myself. I'm a little independent woman and I love acting that I just want to, support myself in any way that I can. So now self tapes are just so beautiful because I have my room, I have my house, I have like a tree I can look out here and give the energy to the tree. I'm like a little energy person. So if yeah. Um, and I can take my time with my self tapes. In person, it's, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And I'm just feeling all the energy and I'm really nervous and I have to make them like me and I have to memorize my lines. And here I can connect with my reader. I can breathe. It's on my own time. I can do as many takes as I like. I can submit. So I much prefer self tapes, but it's different from person to person because the
Mhm.
energy in the room is helpful for sure. And just to see the director and see casting. But self tapes through and through. Love them.
And have you had to audition like on Zoom live? Because I think that's something also, right? What's that one
Yeah.
like?
Um, Again, because I'm in the comfort of my home, I can do my own thing. So I don't mind it. I just had to do one a few days ago and everybody was like in the room. So there was all the producers, all of casting and like there was Montreal casting and there was Toronto casting and like there was like 10 or 15 people. And then I come in and I'm like, okay, they've already seen 20 people. How do I get them to like me? How do I stand out a little bit? And I'm a little bit more on the introverted side in my everyday life, and I've often viewed that as an insecurity, but now I view it as a superpower moving forward. I'm like, I don't have to put on a character for casting or for a director to get them to like me. If they like my energy and they like my talent, then I think it's aligned. And if not, then that's fine. And that's just, yeah, I'm navigating that.
I think that's such a great perspective because some people, what they don't realize is even though they really want a job or a part, it's not meant for them. And like, I feel like even as me, someone who's trying to go into the entertainment industry, that's such a hard thing to like grasp, knowing that the right thing's going to come at the right time and it all kind of lines up. So your mentality, I think, is so strong and it's really going to help you go far.
Thank you. Likewise. I think the more people say it, like rejection is God's protection, rejection is redirection. The more people say it and get into your brain, it's like, okay, I'm one more no closer to a yes. And that's what it is, what is meant for you will totally find you. It's all an alignment thing. And I may have lost out on this one, but a bigger role could be coming in the next month. I don't know. That's the beauty of this industry. You never know what's coming for you.
That's so exciting. And I mean, kind of on the process of auditioning. So, something you said last night is one of your films. And what was the process of making that film from auditioning to shooting to premiering at TIFF?
I love talking about this film. It's so special and it will always be so special to me. So thank you for bringing it up. I auditioned for it in 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020, 2021. I don't know. I
It's all
auditioned for it. It's all like all that time, like oh, scary times. But I auditioned for it approximately 5 times. I submitted my first self-tape for it, and then they came back with a redirection. And I think the redirection was like, can you play her a little bit more bitchy? I think that's what it was. And I was like, absolutely, I can do that. So I submitted that again, and then I had a callback from the redirection, and then I had a meeting with just the director and then I had a chemistry read with Carmen, who plays my sister, and Ramona, who plays my mom. I had a chemistry read with them, and then from there, I booked. And this was my first big yes as an actor, my first big thing. And I was on set when I found out. I got a call. I remember I was doing this horror film at the time where I was in a pit. I was in a pit I was covered in like mud and black goo and I was going through it. I was having a really hard time, like mentally trying to stay in this pit and not freak out. And I was on lunch and my agent called me and he's like, "Are you wearing mascara?" And I said, "No, I'm in black goo." I'm like, "I'm not wearing." He goes, "You booked the film." And oh my gosh, this is my first union project. It made me a union actor. And I was going to be away for 2 months doing the thing that I love. It was so special. And so filming it, we were away for 2 months, bonded immediately. We went up a weekend before the rest of the crew came, so we could just bond as a family. And then Tiff is a whole other beast. Tiff made me realize that I'm meant to do this. Like some people really get stressed out with all this kind of stuff. I thrived during TIFF. I felt like my true authentic self. I felt like I was blossoming into the actress that I've always kind of known myself to be. And I just got to exist. And I got to float around going interview to interview and seeing celebrities face to face and like trying to say hi. And I couldn't because, oh my gosh, like I grew up on you. And getting hair and makeup done. Just being in that chair, being driven around places to interview, like it all felt so surreal. It felt like it was right. And I watched the film for the first time at TIFF. First time I didn't see anything since I filmed it. And I watched it on the big screen with my parents and all of my loved ones. And I bawled. And then they were like, "Go on stage and talk about it." Like, oh my God, I loved it. Like I was bawling as I was trying to talk into the microphone. And it was so special as an actor. So special to see my face up there, to see my name up there, to see that you can do it. Like you can really do anything that you set your mind to. And it was a win. And I think about it often. It's so special.
That's so sweet. I love hearing stories like that. And I think how you were like, this is how I knew what I wanted to do. I really feel that because I know with this podcast, like when I'm interviewing, it just comes so naturally. Like I love to talk, I love to ask the questions. I don't really get nervous beforehand. So it's like when that thing comes naturally and you feel it, it's such a great feeling.
I agree. And I was just talking to my friend about the nervousness too before even if I go to a callback or I have an audition. If I'm not nervous before I go to a callback, it means that you're in alignment. Like it's right for you so that you're exactly where you're meant to be. This is what you're meant to be doing.
That's beautiful. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the film is really beautiful. We watched it before
You
the interview.
did?
Yeah, well, and it's so nice, and I can't even imagine what it's like to watch that with the whole audience. especially at a place like TIFF, like where you know your peers are there and people and like your family and things like that. And I want to go to TIFF like one day, like very badly, just to be around a whole bunch of people that are interested in film and that love this thing and are passionate about the same thing. It just feels like a magical place.
You must. It's
Yes.
so, so special. And the fact that Toronto has that, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, I'm so happy that we're appreciated for film like that, because the film that we make is so special. And like
Hmm.
we're celebrated for that. And Canadian talent also, to see Canadian stars shine in that bright light. Wow, so special.
Hmm.
You have to go to TIFF. Everyone has to go to,
Yes.
I'm like such a TIFF girl, but it's so special for all the film nerds.
Hmm.
It's like a week of paradise.
No,
And
I was
sorry,
we'll
sorry.
have to go to TIFF, and that's how we'll
Yes.
meet.
It's usually in September, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Hmm.
And Toronto is nice in September, Allison, so you
Yes.
have to be
Definitely
with,
make the trip.
yes, yes. No, you must. And I want to
That'd be
come.
amazing. Yes, that'd be
We'll
amazing.
hang out.
Our own little gang of TIFF, the three of us.
Uh,
Little trio.
yes.
Yes.
And speaking of being Canadian, I noticed that a lot of Canadian actors, they say that they're Canadian actors, and American actors don't really, put that American title on their name. So is it more different or more difficult to find work as a Canadian actor than if you were to be American?
I think the times are definitely changing.
Hmm.
We're getting a lot more work in Canada. I still think that the leads are cast in America and the Canadian actors are more secondary, but with self-tapes evolving more and more, we're viewed totally differently. Like you can really get an audition from anywhere that you are in the world. Um, yeah, I'm in this in between right now as an actor, and I'm like, where do I belong? Where do I belong? I don't know if I'm supposed to stay in Toronto. I don't know if I should go to America. I'm kind of looking for a sign, like, how do I elevate my career? How do I make myself who I know that I am, you know? So I'm in this in between right now of Canada, America. I don't know what's going on. So I'm in this like, I don't know. All I know is that everyone appreciates Canadian talent. Like even America, they see all these Canadian stars and they're just like, Canada has all of these great actors. And then it leaves off at that. And it's like, Canada has all these great actors. Okay, but then what? Like, if Canada has all of these great actors, why are we not being appreciated as we should be? All these young Canadian actors, oh my gosh. Like, we're the underdogs. We have to be the underdogs because they're just like, oh, Canada. Oh, Canada, you guys have winter. You're so cute. And it's like oh my, like the talent in Canada, in Toronto, in Vancouver, in Montreal, like everywhere. I think slowly we're being discovered, and it's so needed because everybody is so ridiculously talented and they have that drive. Like I'm
Hmm.
Canadian, I'm nice. And they want to be seen and they want to showcase their talent. And yeah, I'm very, very proud to be a Canadian actor. I think it helps me stand out also. And I'm happy that I can just be a slight voice for the Canadian talent, even though we have so many actors here, but also on social media, I don't want to be too vocal with it because I am an actor before I am anybody on social media. So that's been hard to navigate, but I'm always a proud Canadian actress and I always will
That's amazing because even as a Canadian, I love finding out an actor is Canadian. I'm like,
be.
oh my gosh, I could be like them, not in the acting world, but just like it's attainable. It's something that can happen. And so I just love that. It's inspiring to see.
I know whenever I see a Canadian succeed, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm happy for them. There's no room for jealousy in this industry at all. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you deserve it. Like it's a win for Canada when I see a Canadian get celebrated
Yes.
in the public eye, like as they should be. And yeah, it's the new wave. We're set. We're good.
Yes.
No, definitely. And I think that's just something so important to talk about because I know coming from America, you don't really realize how much of our talent is starting to become Canadian. And that will be the same thing. Like, I'll watch a show, I'll look up an actor and I'll be like, oh my God, they're from Canada. So seeing you guys really start to get noticed and be able to really take over the film industry is inspiring. And like you said, you kind of all know each other, which I think is really cool. And that almost makes it easier sometimes.
Because we all know each other. So put us at a chemistry read and the chemistry will be there. 'Cause we all know each other. We've all hung out on Saturday. Like, it's small that everyone knows each other, but it's big enough that not everybody can work together. So whenever I see somebody that I know in a callback or an audition, I get to work with them on set. It's so fun. It's like two friends just hanging out.
That's so cool. Here at Entertainment Roadmap, we like to do a hot seat section. Would you be down to play?
Where's Allison?
Perfect. So what actor or director do you want to work with one day?
Greta Gerwig, 100%. 100%. Actor, I mean, to work alongside Meryl is just a dream. Just a dream.
Yes. What's your current favorite movie, book, or TV show?
Okay, my favorite movie, I just watched it last week, so it's on my mind. All of Us Strangers. Have you watched that yet?
Not yet, but it's very high up on my watch list.
Noah. Oh my gosh. It like I love films that just showcase acting. Like just showcase actors doing their thing. We don't need all like to fill our minds with everything all the time. Just to watch actors work, I think is so special. It's not for everybody. Like I know that they're like, oh, I wish I had more this happened, more car crashes, whatever. It's not for everybody, but to watch actors shine,
Mhm.
that's my thing. That's my niche. So to watch that, oh my God, it was so beautiful. We'll DM each other after you watch it because I
Perfect.
geek out about it. It's so good. My favorite TV show, honestly, I haven't been a TV show gal.
Okay.
I don't I can't. Like if it's not happening in the moment, like Euphoria Sundays, like that was so fun, or like The Last of Us, that was so fun too, to watch it in real
Mhm.
time. But to go back, I'm like, I cannot get into it. And people are like, yeah, you just have to get through the first season and then it's fine. I'm like, the first season is like an hour episodes each. There's 10 of them. So I'm
I
like,
know.
I yeah, TV show, I mean, oh my gosh, guys, I don't know what a TV show.
I want
That's okay.
to
You
know,
don't have to.
we need to bring back real television because, like you said, it's fun. Real television to me is like 24 episodes coming on live, like think Pretty Little Liars.
I was just about to say Pretty Little Liars.
We are so
Yes.
out of touch with that we have these 8 episodes, they all come out at once, and then the show gets canceled after one season. I feel like TV is hard to enjoy right now.
It is.
Mhm.
I really appreciate companies that put out one episode a week. And I'm like, yes. Um,
Mhm.
streaming is the way. Streaming is the new wave. I loved my Pretty Little Liar days. I would sit down in my best friend's basement. We would have an A&W and we would watch Pretty Little Liars. I remember that specifically. And this generation, they don't have that. They don't
Mhm.
like I guess they had Euphoria, but that's streaming too, so it's a very interesting world to navigate. But I want to work on TV so badly, you guys. I've never worked on TV. I've only done feature films. I don't mind being a feature film girl. I love feature films. But TV is so special, and the new wave for TV is very interesting too, and just how it's developing. There's so many projects out there for TV. There's so many pilots. I was listening to a podcast recently, and it's like, where do all of the failed TV pilots go? I want to see that. I want to see where all the failed TV pilots go. Yeah, it's very interesting.
That's so interesting, actually. Yeah. So what song is currently on repeat for you?
Ooh. Always Unknown by Hosier. That's
Oh,
like,
you're so good.
God, it's so good.
Do you
I
like Noah Khan by any chance?
want to see him on April.
I'm seeing him in July and I'm so excited. I love him. And like I know him and Hosier have like done some things together.
Yes.
So
Northern Attitude collab. Are you
yeah.
kidding?
My
And I
sister's friend went to a music festival over the summer and saw them perform together live. They were both on stage. I was so jealous.
he was blessed.
Yeah.
Blessed. Your Needs, My Needs, Noah Khan, my favorite, my personal favorite. The buildup, oh, that gets me.
Call Your Mom. I didn't know what it was about at first. So I listened to it and I was like, okay, like Call Your Mom. And then I looked into the meaning and I couldn't listen to it for like weeks without crying. My mom was eventually like, we can't listen to this song anymore. Like
Your
you're
mom had to
sobbing
be
every time it
one.
comes on.
Your mom was like, Allison, like we gotta switch it up. So, if I need a confidence boost, anything Beyonce, Renaissance. If I'm like about to go into a social situation, Renaissance in the ears, that pumps me up.
It's
That's a
such,
good one.
yeah.
Short films or feature length?
Feature lengths in the theater. Feature
Hmm.
lengths at home, it's like, yeah, okay, like I can pause and feature lengths in the theater by yourself. Do you watch movies by yourself? Do you go to the theater?
Yeah, I had a few years ago, my class was in the same building as a movie theater, and I had like a really long break in between two classes, so I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once by myself in between the two classes, and it
That's
was
a
an
good
amazing
one.
experience.
That's
Yeah.
a good
That's so
movie.
cool. Stop. I'm so jealous
Mhm.
that you literally just had like a theater right there. Okay. That's
I know, but it was kind of bad because I would always be really tempted to skip class and just go watch a movie because it was right there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But yeah, I mean, if you're in film, you can skip
Yeah.
watch a
I
movie.
did a couple times, but I still graduated, so
Go, that's all
yeah.
that matters.
Yeah.
Allison, do you watch movies by yourself in the theaters?
I don't, but I feel like I have to start. Like it's a confidence issue for me because I'm always like, I don't want to go alone. But I feel like there's so many I want to see that like my friends don't necessarily want to see, or like I just randomly want to go. So I feel like I have to start.
I'm telling you, the first time you do it, liberating.
Hmm.
You just watch it by yourself and you're with your own thoughts. You're not worried about does the other person like it? Okay, they're moving a lot. They just check their phone. You're just so glued in to it. You
Hmm.
must.
And
Oh,
also you're not at home, so like you're probably not gonna pick up your phone or like get bored or whatever because you're sitting in there and it's dark and you have popcorn and it's really good experience.
It's you and film, and that's it.
Hmm.
And that connection is so strong.
that sounds so okay. That's gonna be on my bucket list now. I'm gonna force myself to go see a movie by myself.
And you will feel so confident coming out of that theater because you did something for yourself that day. Like nobody else. It wasn't, you took yourself on a date, and it's so
That's
fun.
yeah, that's such a good perspective. And what is your dream role or project? Even if it's of the past.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that my dream role has been created. I think that the new wave for film is so intriguing to me, and I have such faith in new filmmakers that I think that my dream role, I'll know it when I see it. Um, and everyone else has done the roles before. I have yet to have my own creative spin on something that's totally mine. And yeah, growing up in a time where everything is remote on your device, I think that yeah, the new way for filmmakers is going to be so special, and our brains just work differently than they have in previous years. Like we're just more creative, I think, because we have just a more creative outlet so accessible to us. But like Katniss Everdeen would be a dream. Like I can picture like Katniss Everdeen, or even to be in something like The Notebook. I'm such a romantic deep down, so I would love to be in something like The Notebook, where it showcases acting, but still like a love.
Rachel McAdams is so good in that movie.
See, that's what I'm
Amazing.
talking about. Like she was born for that role. I want
Yeah.
someone that I was like, oh yeah, Paige Evans was born for that role, and will, but like there's nobody. Did you guys see the Britney Spears interview or her audition for The Notebook?
Yes.
Like it's so interesting to see how different actors have their spin on it, but that role was Rachel's, and we
Yes,
just
definitely.
we were
And she
blessed.
did and she did that and Mean Girls like at the same time, basically.
Mind-boggling.
She's hmm
Mind-boggling. How do you do that? There's a few movie characters in my mind that I'm like, there's no way that's the actor. Rachel McAdams in Mean Girls, Johnny Depp and Willy Wonka. How is
Yeah.
Johnny Depp Willy Wonka? I don't get that.
I don't know, but that movie used to scare me when I was younger. Like he freaked me
Same.
out in that role.
I know.
Yeah.
It's true because he's so different. He's human-like, which is so captivating.
Yeah, no. But those are good. And I could see you being a Katniss, but I also see your view on it and waiting for your role that's made for you. And I think that's such a great perspective because you're not dwelling on like, oh, this role could have been mine or blah, 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 blah. It's whatever is made for, there is going to be a role made for you one day. And it's just waiting for that to come. And then it's going to be like, yes, that's Paige's role.
Yes. Yeah, and I totally believe that. Maybe I'll have to create one for myself. I'll audition for it and go, oh my gosh, this is my role. I recently just thought that, but again, healing. Yeah, the future is so exciting.
It really is. And there's so much that the future holds from you. I can just tell based on your talent and your TikToks and your films in this interview. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for diving into my mind and believing in me and thinking that I'm cool enough to talk to. So thank you.